obviously the International Day of Labor. That's recognized all over the world. In fact, countries and heads of state actually participate in Mayday events everywhere. And Occupy Albany is trying to create the link with the rest of the workers. It's not just American workers, it's workers all over the world that have these same issues. It's the younger generations who are going to pay for all of what's going on.
It's an International Workers' Day, and we have union representatives sounding off about their respective unions and then their struggles. And this is also potentially the reoccupation of the park. It's coming out of the winter lull, and it's doing what Occupy tried to do, which is just to take space, make it public, and bring people together to talk about things that are important.
This movement is really a young people's movement, not exclusively by any stretch, but many of the people here leading it locally are young people who are new to activism.
Well, obviously this year with the Occupy Solidarity decided that we had to couldn't do a May Day celebration without Occupy Albany. So we got together with them. We had about 8 different meetings. They really took the lead on planning things, planned the march, planned the different teach-ins with speakers and all, planned the whole day.
Taking to the streets the way we should in honor of May Day is sort of in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a passing of the torch, to a younger generation who is stepping up and saying we're willing to take on the mantle of social change.
This is just one more step in a process that's going on for hundreds of years, trying to fight for social justice for working people. It's not something new. It's something we've been doing in the Solidarity Committee for 25 years, but we're doing that on the backs of people who did it during the 30s and during the 19th century and the 18th century. So Occupy movement is just one more step in the struggle for social justice for working people.
I think it encourages us to look at history, and that May Day goes back to the Haymarket Square affair, where we can see a tradition of oppressed people taking control of space and the way that that's been reacted to historically. So May Day goes back to Haymarket Square in Chicago. That day, several people were killed by the police. These same tendencies historically to occupy space has always been what was meant with the strongest reaction by the state, because it challenges the most crucial aspect in politics, which is to challenge the violence inherent in private property. So that's why I think it's important to link up the history of May Day with the Occupy Wall Street movement.
I think one of the good things about the Occupy movement and the framing of the narrative as 99% 1% really shows that students, youth, and labor folks have the same class interests. They're all part of the 99%. They're all getting equally exploited by the 1%, which is getting the vast majority of bailouts, of funds, of tax cuts, while we are taking on more debt. There's attacks on public unions. I think there's starting to be more of a solidarity between younger folks and labor unions, because they're both under attack, and they're under attack from a similar enemy.
Just an extension of the struggle that was around May Day. Occupy is an extension. That's all. They can learn the history. They need to know the history, because I don't think they knew the history of that. It's because they're new, but now they learn the history. And this is the first big May Day that we had in this city. And we're hoping that that it's something that's going to continue, because now all the unions are endorsing it. They didn't do that in the past.
I don't think there's any good way of getting a full education of what May Day is if you rely on the usual sources of information, school, mainstream media. I don't think you're ever really going to get it. But I think people are going to start getting it now. I really do. You get a lot of really broad, powerful movements when students and labor come together, because it's two really large groups that have a lot at stake for how a country treats its the poorest among it.
The Occupy movement helped to shift the narrative towards this 99% 1%. I think that helped show the commonalities between labor unions and youth.
The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That's all I have to say. The Mayday movement, to me, just shows that after a long winter and kind of a slowdown of the movement, that we are still here and we are still interested in change, and we haven't lost, and we're still fighting.
We're all in this together. It's not PEF, it's not CSEA, it's not NICET, it's us, it's workers. And the only way that we're going to change this tide is if we unite and we say, no, we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to deal with these deteriorations of our conditions, because this is our future, this is our children's future, this is our country's future.
One, we are the people. Two, we are united. Three, this occupation is not leaving. One,
we are unstoppable. Another world is possible. We are unstoppable.
another world is possible. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible.
We are unstoppable.
Another world is possible.